Now, I've been building my own PCs for a long time now, about 20 years, and the idea of a pre-built PC has generally left me cold ever since. Now recently MSI approached me and asked if I wanted to check out one of their Aegis 3 pre-builts. Now this has got an 8th gen Intel 8700, and on seeing the case I was intrigued to see just how good these are. So of course I said yes, and here it is. Now inside here is an i7 8700 non-K, a 6GB GTX1060, 8GB of DDR4, a 128GB NVMe M.2 boot drive, and a 1TB storage drive, which is boosted with Intel Optane. Well, on getting this onto the desk, the first thing that strikes you of course is the shape of this thing. It's got an aggressive forward slant and it just generally looks unusual. Now the PC builder in me started ringing alarm bells. Surely upgradability must be compromised. Well, to be honest, if you're going to go to a pre-built in the first place, then the odds are that these things won't matter too much anyway. But even if they do, with this particular PC, it's nowhere near as bad as the PC builder snob in me was making out. So let's have a look at this quirky little PC. Well, starting with the front, like I say, it's quite an aggressive design with a light up MSI Dragon logo and RGB lights behind these air vents. On the left hand side of the front there are 3 USB ports, 2 which are Type A's and 1 Type C. And on the right there are 2 audio ports, the power switch and some LEDs here for power and hard drives. On each side there's a headphone hanger, and if we go over the top of the chassis there is a carry handle. Now given the size it makes it ideal for taking around, so if your friends have LAN parties, that sort of thing, then it's great for that. Although given the quite hefty weight of the PC, I wouldn't say it's completely portable. Going around the back we can see that the power supply is stowed away in this pedestal. Then moving up on the left is the graphics card with a display port, HDMI and a DVI port, and on the right hand side is the motherboard I/O with 2 USB 2, 4 USB 3, a HDMI port which is going to be completely useless because you've got the graphics card, a gigabit LAN port, 5 analog audio ports and 1 optical digital. On top of all that, the PC has Wi-Fi built in with no obvious aerials anywhere. Now I was a little bit worried about this with poor connections in what is a bit of a dead spot in my house, but it's been surprisingly good. So let's check out the inside of this machine. Now it was just a case of loosening 4 or 5 screws and sliding the top off and then removing the sides. And then looking in the top compartment first gives us big clues straight away on how easy this is going to be to upgrade. These here are the 2 drive bays. One's already populated with the 1TB Western Digital Blue hard drive, and then there's space here to add in a 2.5-inch SSD or hard drive, simply by hooking it up to the pre-installed connectors and sliding it in like this. And on the opposite side here there is another M.2 connector for yet another drive. Now speaking of the drives, removing the back panel behind the motherboard gives us access to the M.2 boot drive, which is an Intel 600p 128GB NVMe and the 16GB Intel Optane module. Also here in the middle is the first real indicator of anything non-standard about this desktop. Here we find a SODIMM slot for the extra memory. Now this shows us that this uses laptop style memory, not the usual desktop type, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive to upgrade. Moving around to the opposite side of the case, taking the side off here we can see the graphics card, which is an MSI 1060 6GB, although this can be easily removed and upgraded with a card up to 330mm in length. There's also a spare power connector in case your new card requires extra power. Looking at the placement of the card, it's positioned in a way to draw air directly through the vents on the side here. And coupled with the RGB LED strips which run around the edge of the inside of the case, it looks really good too through that vent, and also through the small acrylic window just below. So back to the inside, and looking behind the graphics card we can see the motherboard. Now you can also see here that there's the existing 8GB of RAM that's installed. Again, it's a SODIMM. Now I didn't get a chance to take the graphics card out to have a better look behind, but I know there's a custom cooler in there keeping the i7 8700 nice and cool. Now even if you removed all that to get in there and remove and upgrade the CPU, there's not really much point. The motherboard is a B360, so the i7 8700 is pretty much the best you'll be able to fit in there anyway. And add to that, it's a B360 board and it's an 8700. There's no ability to overclock. So with all that said, let's see how it performs. Well, in addition to those numbers, I can tell you that the system feels really snappy and responsive. All the games I tested were saved onto the 1TB hard drive, and I didn't really feel that there was any slowdown from using it, especially with it being Octane enhanced. So what do I think? Well, as a PC builder of 20 odd years, I've always looked upon pre-built systems like this one, well, not too favourably. But I'm not afraid to say that this little PC has proven me wrong. Despite its compact size, it's still decently upgradable, and the quality of the build really is excellent. The PSU being in the basement pedestal, along with the placement of the graphics card next to the vents, do help to keep the system cool. But would I buy one? Well, probably not. As much as I love this little rig, I just love building PCs more. But if you're looking for a pre-built PC that's decent spec, plays all the latest games, looks really good, and more importantly, it's, well, just ready to plug in and go, then this comes highly recommended. Gotta say a huge thanks to MSI for lending this to me to have a look at. If you're interested in this, you want to see more about it, I'll leave a link to MSI's website down below in the description. Don't forget to use our Amazon and Overclockers links, it really does help to keep the channel going. So give this video a like if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, I've got loads more videos coming soon, so just click that subscribe button down below, it doesn't cost a thing. And thanks for watching, and I will see you later.